Alright, let me know when we're ready. Hello, hello. And welcome to another week of the SnB Multi-Series Challenge. We are at week 4, where our first race will be the GT cars at the Indianapolis Grand Prix circuit, a former F1 track that was then converted into an IndyCar track once they started going back-to-back during May. And now we're going to be racing here this evening on Forza. The driver is going to have to deal with a serious challenge tonight. Very, very challenging racetrack to get around. And let's show you via a hot lap. So here's a lap around Indianapolis in the GTs. Going down the long, famous Brickyard Straight here. Fastest part of the racetrack. We'll set up for this right-hander. You can be very aggressive cutting it without Forza nabbing you. I'm going to swing way out right here to set yourself up for this next right-hander. Going to keep yourself a little bit to the right of those curbs on the left so that you can set up for this little kink. Straighten that out as much as you can. Get over to the right side, the second fastest part of the racetrack. Hard braking zone, again, can be very aggressive with the curbs there. Here's where the car is at its lightest. The rear end is wanting to slide all over the place. Very difficult to keep it under you. Try to keep it out right here. Full speed through this little sweeping corner, and then a very difficult turn to set up for. Very easy to overdrive and underdrive. Swing out to the right so you can set yourself up for this left-hander. Now get back to the left so you can give yourself an angle. Keep your speed up. Try to keep full throttle. Try not to get into the grass there. And that is a lap around Indianapolis. Alright. We are back. So tonight's race, definitely going to be an interesting challenge. Following these drivers during the week, they were, I think it's going to be a medium tire race. The softs, once again, in the GT series, not going to be applicable. It does not appear. Other than that, I think, yeah, straightforward medium tire strategy. And from there, it's going to be brute force speed. The tires have a little bit of give up, maybe, toward the very end. But again, it's not nearly enough to justify trying the hards. So we are going to go with medium tires all around. And we will be going green here in about 6 minutes, 7 minutes. They have about 5.5 left in practice / qualifying. Let's check out these times here. Only 2 different drivers have put down a lap time in qualifying. Sober David with a 1:26.7, Legit with a 1:28.8. I believe we were seeing 125, like low 125s on the medium tire in race trim, so I think we could definitely see a 24 in qualifying. I think that will be your pole speed, so Sober David and Legit both a little bit off on their time so far. And again, this is the Shake and Bake multi-series challenge. 2 different disciplines of race car in a single night. The GTs, which are your rear drive, really fast, really fun cars to drive. And then your touring cars, front wheel, big old battering rams that are really, really tough to wrangle around the racetrack. Both have their own difficulties, their own challenges, their own strategies that you need to make lap time around each racetrack. But both are incredibly fun, and both have put on pretty good shows so far this season. Alright, some more lap times have been put down. Stanton Drums with a 25.222. That's a little bit closer to what I was imagining we would see out there. Frozen Toves has a dirty 125.3. Very unfortunate. Hopefully she can put down a nice clean lap the second time around. And hopefully she didn't dirty it at the end of her lap, because if you go over that little strip of grass at the end, that will cause a that will anger the Forza gods and cause a dirty lap. Ferrari Nut with a 123.9. I was wondering if maybe 23s were in play. I thought that was a little aggressive, but I would have been wrong. A 123.969 on the board. And I think that's about all you can get out of it. Still 8 drivers have made a lap. Ferrari Nut by 1.3 seconds. Now by 1.9 seconds. Or actually not under a full second. 9/10 of a second back is Stanton Drums with a 24.8. Frozen Toves able to put down a clean lap with a 25.3. Scarface with a 25.6. Leaf Justin with a 26.2. A lot slower than I thought he was going to be able to put down. Must have had some issues on his lap. We'll see what he can do. LBZ with a 126.7. Sober David with a 126.7. JC with a 27.2. Legit with a 28.8. That time of Ferrari Nuts looks like it is going to stand with a minute and 50 remaining in this qualifying session. Minute 16 remaining in this qualifying session. All 11 drivers, or actually 11 drivers have made a lap. There are still 3 more. It'll be a 14-car field tonight. So far, the top times on the board are Ferrari Nut, who has well paced himself ahead of the field with a 23.9. Stanton Drums and Leaf Justin on top of each other with a 24.8 and 9, respectively. Frozen Toves with a solid lap of 25.3. Scarface with a solid 25.6. That is currently your top 5 in the field so far. Last week's winner in this series was Skyland 4. He is currently sitting P6 with a 126.1. We have lost Jacob X99, unfortunately. Hopefully he will be able to get back here. So that looks like this will be your starting lineup for the race tonight. Let's go through here. And right at the last minute, Skyline able to move up into the P3 position. So let's see what these guys have out here. Again, it's going to be a medium tires for all here in this race. Ferrari Nut on the pole with a 123.9. 9/10 back, almost a full second, is Stanton Drums 94. Skyland 4 steals the inside of the second row. Actually, it looks like it's going to be the outside. But he ran a 124.8. Leaves Justin 24 with a 124.931. Frozen Toast 24 with a 125.366 in P5. P6 is Scarface 3D with a 125.6. P7 is Dion 4 Dub with a 126.0. LBZ81 in 8th with a 126.7. Sober David 89 with a 126.7. He will start in 9th. JC will roll off in 10th with a 126.7. mayor of Bag City, a featured driver in our Formula One series. We'll roll off 11th. Legit rolling off in 12th, and Gary from Canada, shotgun on the field. Alright, here we go. We will have a pace lap here to start off. A lot of smoke in the in the stands for some reason. Well, let's get all of our stuff turned on here. There we go, Ferrari not leading them around the racetrack. It'll be 16 green flag laps. 17 laps, including this pace lap. The driver's probably going to wait until they get around to nearly the start of the lap to start doubling up here. A lot of these guys warming up their tires. This track very, very slippery on cold tires. So here we go, Ferrari Nut 94, who has not yet won a race in this series. One of the heavy hitters previously in our various Forza leagues. But again, set the pole by almost a full second. If he is able to keep the tires under him, that is what has caught him out pretty much every race, is the various tire strategies. We will see if that happens tonight, but again, it seems like it's a pretty straightforward medium tires all around kind of race. Getting close to going green here. Ferrari Nut and Stanton Drums will lead them to the green flag. Here we go. Once they get past pit entry, it'll be on Ferrari Nut to start this race, which they already have. When he goes, it'll be time to go, and there he is off. A good jump for Ferrari Nut heading down the front straight, side by side for second place. Leaf Justin bump drafting. Falls in line behind Skyland 4. They plow their way into some contact in the back. You could hear it audibly. But Ferrari Nut able to get out in front of all of the carnage. He will lead side by side for the third position. That is currently the only battle inside the top 5. There's a black car back there sliding back a little bit. Not sure exactly who that was, but now single file throughout the field as they head down to the hard braking left-hander. Frozen Toes looking to the inside of Leafs Justin. A little bit of contact. Those two are side by side. Let's check in on that battle. Frozen with a small mistake, falls back just a little bit. Leaves Justin able to get away. He is setting his sights on Skyland 4, who is watching Stanton Drums and Ferrari Nut drive off into the distance. Stanton Drums all over the rear end of Ferrari Nut. Have to wonder if maybe he's on a slightly more aggressive tire, or if Ferrari really taking it easy. Ferrari known for saving those tires. Skyland with a really defensive line battling against Leaf Justin down the front straight. Justin not able to get a dive. Looks like Skyland maybe went a little bit deep. That straightened out angle not helping his exit speed, but is able to maintain that position. They both hold a nice line going through the infield section here, now onto the back straight. These two all over each other. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ferrari Nut and Stanton. You can throw a blanket over the two of them. all over each other. Stanton continuously looking to try to find a way around Ferrari Nut. Not able to do it. Now Ferrari is left in the dirt. That doesn't provide the opportunity for Stanton Drums to get through there. Maybe a little bit of contact through one of the more difficult braking zones on the racetrack. Ferrari really fighting the rear end of that car. A well-executed final corner, a little bit wide there. But otherwise, well-executed out of Ferrari Nut. He's able to leg out a car length lead, but a lot of speed out of that BMW down the straightaway. Stanton Drum's going to look to his right side, and he is going to be able to clear Ferrari Nut. Ferrari Nut going to try the crossover. They go through these turns side by side. Ferrari Nut able to clear him. Now a crossover attempt from Stanton, not able to pull it off. So Ferrari Nut able to hold on to the lead. Ferrari with a defensive line going down into this corner. Stanton Drum's going to hang out on his right side. Ferrari not going to shove him out into the dirt, but Stanton has to get out of the throttle anyway. Can't really go through here side by side. He's going to think about diving, thinks better of it. Ferrari Nut gets out another car length of a lead here. This is where it kind of all started to go away from him the last lap. We'll see if he's able to maintain here. Stanton's going to go to his left side. A great launch out of that corner. Side by side. Ferrari on that outside able to power down. Stanton not able to do the same. Stanton pushed really wide on the exit of the final turn. And here's where there was a lot. Looks like there was a yellow out of here. Looks like there was a caution. Yep, a couple of drivers have come to pit road. Watching that excellent battle for the win. Let's see. We can't change the camera, but I'm assuming LBZ and Sober David both involved in that incident. So the first yellow flag of our season in either discipline, in either the GTs or the touring cars, comes out here. So let's run through the field right quick. Ferrari Nut 94 leading, Stanton Drums P2. Skylin running third right now with Leaf Justin 24 in fourth. Dion 4 Dub has moved up into the 5th position. Frozen Toes currently run 6th. Scarface is in 7th, JC 8th, Legit 9th, Gary from Canada 10th, and then it looks like we have our drivers involved in that incident that brought out this yellow. Mayor of Bag City in 11th, Sober David 12th, and LBZ currently not on the racetrack. There he is, in the 13th position. Must have had a ton of damage to fix. A lot of these guys are going to come in, and I imagine they're all going to put on soft tires here. Going to try not to put any fuel in it to keep the car as light as possible, maximize that lap time. But they're all going to put on the softs, and we're going to have a huge sprint to the finish. It'll be about... We'll go green, I believe, with 11 laps to go. Go very awkward pit entry and exit provided to us by Forza here. Ferrari Nut will win the battle off of pit road. I said, imagine all of these drivers are on a similar, if not the exact same strategy. No reason to put fuel in the car unless you were just hyper-aggressive with it. Too aggressive in pre-race. But I believe we will go green this time around. It'll be a single file restart. Ferrari Nut will lead him around. He'll be on his go anytime between pit entry, the pit wall, and the start-finish line, which here is a much bigger restart zone than other racetracks in the series. There we go. Stanton Drums was able to form an aggressive charge on Ferrari Nut, but Ferrari Nut able to defend it at every turn. Will that be the story here in these final 11 laps as we are getting ready to go back green? Again, coming off the first caution flag in this series history. There we go, past pit wall entry. It will be on Ferrari Nut whenever he wants. Here we go. He is accelerating. They are off. A much less compressed start compared to last time. But that BMW has such good top end speed at the end of these straightaways. Not able to make the lunge. Ferrari Nut goes wide, goes deep into the corner. Stanton trying to cross him over, but Ferrari not giving an inch. Gets really loose, able to maintain that position. Stanton not able to pull the cross here. They're going to have to get single file through the kink. Side by side for third, but this battle for first continues on. Will Stanton be able to lunge in there? No, he will not. Meanwhile, Skyland and Leafs Justin continue fighting for this third position. Justin gonna look to the right side. Skyland gonna give him a look, open the door a little bit. Will Justin try to lunge in there? No, he will not. Skyland a little bit wide, but still maintains good enough pace. Justin a little loose on exit, not able to get the power down. That allows Skyland to pull away by a couple of car lengths, now a little bit wide on entry. Not a good series of corners for the Orange 24. Meanwhile, Ferrari Nut starting to leg out a lead on Stanton Drums, something we did not see before the green flag. Ferrari really starting to flex his muscle a bit. Let's go back to this battle for the 7th position between Scarface and Legit. That is the wrong camera. That is a little better camera. JC is really fallen back from Dion for Dub. Our front five have really pulled away from the rest of the field. JC trying to hold off Scarface. Meanwhile, a disastrous restart for Frozen Toes. She was running in the top 5 at the beginning of this race, 6th at the restart, but now she finds herself at the back of the field in 13th. Trying to work her way back up. Mayor from Bag City. A player in our F1 league. Making his first start tonight. Probably didn't come in with a lot of experience or a lot of practice time. Running in the 11th position, trying to get to Gary from Canada. Puts his rights in the dirt. That's going to allow LBZ to get alongside. Meanwhile, let's go up to the 2nd position, where there is a bit of a battle forming up here. Our intervals are all mixed and mashed up over there in the top left, but as you can see, our front 4 is still really close. We're in touch with each other if a mistake happens up front. But a major gap has come out. Dion for Dub finds himself on his own little island in the 5th position. Ferrari Nut still holding on to that lead. A really aggressive through the dirt. You can see Stanton Drums getting really loose. That is one of the most difficult parts of the track to get through, keeping the rear underneath you. He loses a lot of ground there. That's something we have seen out of Ferrari, that he has been really loose, really out of control in this car. I don't think it's been the best handling machine all season long, but it's almost it's almost helped him practice for this type of race where the car really wants to slide around some of these other drivers, really struggling, really aggressive with that corner exit, uses a lot of grass, but he's able to hold on. Meanwhile, side by side for the third position, Leafs Justin still working over Skyland. Skyland trying to defend. He's on the inside. A lot of speed in that Porsche. Justin's going to try the cross, but Skyland's able to park it in the center of the corner, not allow that move to happen. Oh, a little bit of contact, a little bit of bumper tag. Leaf Justin looking to his right, not going to be able to make that pass. They're going to have to get single file through here. And he's going to have to use the draft, but that Porsche has been so fast compared to the other cars. Dive it in there. Not quite able to make a move. Up front, you can see Stanton Drums is once again pulled up to the rear bumper of Ferrari Nut, but just hasn't quite been able to do anything with it. Both really tight. Skyland maybe had to back out a little less, was able to get a lead back. But now Justin trying everything he can to stick his nose in somewhere to make that move. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead stays about where it's been this entire run. Ferrari got out to a little bit of a lead, a little bit of a gap early on, but wasn't able to leg it out. Now Stanton Drums to the inside once again. Ferrari going to be able to power it down on that inside. Now Stanton kind of in that preferred line. He's able to get the throttle up and complete the pass finally. Hello to you, Smokey and the Bandit. Meanwhile, Ferrari Nut and Stanton Drums still side by side. This battle continues on for the lead in this race. Ferrari able to beat him everywhere but the straightaways, but that BMW has a huge advantage. Leaning all over his rear bumper through there. Ferrari not taking it, able to hang on, keep that rear end underneath him. They continue fighting. Stanton looking a little bit to the outside, maybe going to try the cross, not going to be able to get the power down. Ferrari with a much better angle there, but not able to get it to the rumble strips, but still able to get through there with a lot more speed. Stanton had the lift on exit. That is going to hurt him. But again, down the straightaway, just so much more speed. Looking forward from Stanton Drums now. The Dodge versus the BMW. Once again, we're onto the straightaway where this BMW has handled so much better than any other car out there tonight. Not able to get quite alongside him, but he's able to shorten up his entry a little bit, but not able to take advantage of it. Ferrari Nut, oh, but he gets his foot in the grass just a little bit too much, gets really loose. Stanton alongside. Ferrari really dives it in there. Stanton not able to counter, and that will allow Ferrari Nut to continue maintaining this lead. Let's see the speed comparison here going down the straightaway, because it is a massive, massive gap. You have Stanton already by the start-finish line going a lot faster. Has the benefit of the draft, but still just a lot more power going about 5 miles an hour faster by the end of the straightaway. Almost like he has DRS in that car. I'm sure there are other battles on the racetrack that are pretty good, but man, I do not want to leave this battle for the lead. Stanton once again not going to look to the inside. He keeps looking to the right side here. Ferrari is running a very defensive line. Oh, he sends it in there a little too deep. That's going to be the mistake Ferrari Nut needs. Stanton really tried blasting it in there on the outside, not able to get that car woed down enough, and I think that is all that Ferrari Nut is going to need to leg out a lead. Now Stanton Drums needs a big mistake out of the Viper. Meanwhile, let's go to the back of the John Deere Corvette that looks like it has seen better days of Gary from Canada. Trying to get around Frozen Toes 24 as she's trying to run down Mayor of Bag City. A large gap from Mayor of Bag City up to Scarface, who is a second back of Legit. Meanwhile, the battle for third has turned into a battle for second. Stanton Drums starting to fall into the clutches of Leaf Justin 24. Oh, it looks like we have lost one of our drivers. That would be LBZ81. He has DNF'd. Meanwhile, over a black screen there, it seems like Skyline had a bad set of corners. That allows Leaf Justin to run away from him and try to run down Stanton Drums. Meanwhile, Ferrari Nut, without that car on his rear end, able to run the line that he wants to run. That's going to allow him to leg out a lead here. Now, I'm curious how these tires are going to hold up. Well, actually, let's take a look. That is a thing that can be done. See, all the tires still look pretty healthy on Stanton Drums. It won't be until the very end. The medium sets were wearing out through a full 16-lap run. They're starting to get a little worn at the very end, so with a 11-lap run, you'd figure the softs might be a little bit iffy. So far, Stanton able to maintain. In fact, he has been able to pull away from Leaf Justin. Only 2.5 laps remaining in this race. Ferrari Nut with just under a 2-second lead. Stanton really trying to run him down. Carried a lot of speed through the S's and ended up missing that final one just a little bit because of it. But still, not a lot of pace lost. We'll have to maintain here. You can tell he's driving his tail off trying to stay with that Viper. Oh, meanwhile, Skyline has managed to get around Leaf Justin. There's Dion all by his lonesome. There's Leaf Justin, who is now behind Skyline 4. Not sure where that happened. But now Justin trying to look back on him. These three have really been yo-yoing together. Stanton Drums looked like he was going to be able to pull away, but it looks like he's kind of falling back into these two once again. Meanwhile, Justin trying to take a peek to the inside of Skyline, but not able to do it. Skyline with a bit of a little too much grass there, loses the rear end. Now Justin trying to take advantage of it. He's able to get to his right side here. This is one of the more dangerous corners on the racetrack. Justin have to be real careful here. Gets on the brakes. Able to go alongside. A little bit of contact. Forces Skyland wide. Now Justin goes a little bit too wide. Gives him a lot of room. This is going to be real difficult on Skyland. It's real tight on corner exit here. But those two are able to stay side by side. Out of the wall. It is the final lap. White flag is out here at Indianapolis. Ferrari Nut continues to be the leader, and you can see the tires starting to go. So that's exactly what I was wondering would happen on these softs if the tires would start to give out. And yes, they have. Justin and Skyland all over each other. It looks like Skyland really, really struggling on this set of softs. Justin to the inside. He's going to take one more lunge at it here. Going to get alongside. Not going to be able to clear him. Is he going to force Skyland wide? No, he doesn't. Skyland actually able to pinch him down on exit. But now Justin able to clear him. Move Justin up into the third position. Meanwhile, off into the final set of quarters. Ferrari Nut 94 has not won yet, but he will be able to take home the victory tonight with a couple of nice solid turns through the final corner. Ferrari Nut 94 will be your winner here this evening in the GT Series. Stanton Drums will finish second. Let's look at this battle side by side to the line. Leaf Justin able to clear him. He's going to throw a big block on Skyland. Those two battling it out to the end. Leaf Justin with the advantage at the line. That left front tire, they're pushing on each other after the flag. Dion 4Dub in fifth. JC actually was able to get pretty close to him there, but not quite able to overtake him. He will finish sixth. Sober David seventh. Legit in eighth. Scarface in ninth. Mayor of Bag City 10th. Frozen Toes 24 11th. And Gary from Canada in 12th, with LBZ 81 finishing 13th with the DNF. So let's see if we can get a hold of these drivers. Ferrari Stanton and Leafs Justin.
Tried so hard.
And got so far. But in the end, it didn't even matter. Hello. So that was a fun set of battles to watch there to the end. Let's check in with our victor. First of all, Ferrari Nut 94 had a lot to deal with there from Stanton Drums 94. A lot of speed down the straightaways out of that BMW, but were able to hold him off. Talk about your race tonight and how you were able to pull it off.
Yeah, somehow ripped a sub 24 out in qualifying. That was unexpected. Obviously, was able to back that up in the race. Usually, we can run slightly faster in the race just for, you know, consistency and getting into a groove. But yeah, I got the pole pretty handily to start things off, and then yeah, that BMW, kind of the same thing as the Force. The thing is wicked fast in the straight line. Just seemed to be a little bit better on the brakes and maybe through the entry of the corners with this Viper than maybe they are. But yeah, definitely down the straightaway, the Beamer had the measure of this car a little bit.
Waka waka waka.
So I kind of just had to make him go the long way and try to sucker him into a mistake, and it eventually worked. He caught the grass and ended up going really, really deep into the corner at the end of the back straightaway, and then that was just okay. Just don't make a mistake after that.
The Viper seemed to have been a handful all season long. What was it about this track that kind of made it come to you a little bit, that made it sort of, the best choice out there? Maybe not the best choice, but a good enough choice for you to get the dub.
Well, not qualifying in the back like I did at Daytona, not picking the wrong tires like I did at Catalonia, and not having a Porsche that was freaking miles faster than me in a straight line in front of me like in Sebring.
Well, that'll do it.
So not making any stupid errors and having a car that was maybe a little bit more suited to the track than previously.
Well, that is Ferrari Nut 94, the victor in the GT portion of the evening. Let's head over to Stanton Drums 94, who finished in P2. Battling hard there with Ferrari Nut 94, sailed it in there pretty deep, very aggressive. Looked like you were giving it everything you had. Was that mistake the difference? Did you think you had anything for him there? And just talk about your overall race.
Well, the biggest mistake that I made was once I actually, when he suckered me into it, I decided to play the different mind game on the lap that I passed him, and I made a very bad mistake on not shifting from second to third and third to fourth. So at that point, the difference maker was me just sending it one lap too late on that late braking zone. I didn't catch the grass, I just simply braked too late. But honestly, it wasn't, I had the draft. I don't think it was my straight line speed. It was my actual being able to get into the corner on braking better than him. He just didn't, he had the drive off once I would get there. So it was just essentially, if I didn't pass him and get in front of him, there was no chance that I was actually going to win. I just couldn't simply drive off the corner.
So is it I guess it was a difference of maybe you needed to put a bumper to him to upset him a little bit to help maximize that exit? That would have been really the only way you could have pulled it off?
Yeah, essentially, and I'm not trying to be a rub-in racing, especially in these cars. Maybe in the touring cars, but these things are too fragile.
That is Stanton Drums. Disappointed with the second place finish, but still a very, very solid effort as he was able to give Ferrari Nut a run for his money. Let's head over to third position. Had a epic battle with Skyland there at the end of the race. Talk about your finish there, beating and banging and crossing each other over, and eventually you were able to come out the victor in that fight and come home on the final podium spot.
Yeah. Ended the race how it started, just all over the Porsche. We could not get away from him, could not securely get around him. He couldn't securely very easily get around me. It was just, we were glued to each other the entire race. And it felt like once we kind of got away from each other by a few car lengths, that was our only chance, was for the front two to get fighting each other and make some mistakes. And once one of them did, it felt like that was the end of trying to get both of them. But I had one shot at Stanton and couldn't quite do it, and then got back to fighting with Skyline again, and got basically as physical as you could with these cars. We were bouncing off each other a little bit. I had the luxury of my car being a lot more stable than his, so I could be a little bit more aggressive in that sense and bully his car a little bit. But definitely fun to bounce off each other all the way to the finish and come out on top of it.
Well, that is Leaf Justin 24. I had a really fun battle at the end for P3, and we're about to get started here with our touring car event tonight, the second race of our two this evening, and we'll see which of these drivers we get to talk to here in a little bit. Alright, getting our next race set up. Thank you, Morgs, for the follow. All that good stuff. I am Jarrett Ray has followed. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll move on to the second half of our evening here in about 5 seconds. I believe the correct settings are saved. Have to... Let's see. Alright, so here we are at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. One of my personal favorite racetracks to drive. I absolutely love this place. They're running the short version, which cuts out the keyhole, which is honestly one of my favorite corners on the racetrack, so that's a little disappointing, but still, I'll love this racetrack. Absolutely a ton of fun. I guess I'll put myself in the right car, just for funsies here. So here we are. A massive challenge in these cars is a winding racetrack, which with these front wheel drive race cars, it's very difficult to corner, very difficult to turn. Let's see what these drivers are going to have to deal with as we take you for a lap around Mid-Ohio in the touring car. Alright, here is a lap around the Mid-Ohio short course. Just cuts off the keyhole in the touring car. Long sweeping corner, easy to get wrong. You want to try to keep it to the left on exit because you have a really quick right-hand turn. Want to dive it in there on entry, swing out, then try to diamond it, get that late apex so you can get a really good launch down the straightaway. This will be the fastest part of the course. You can dive it in a lot deeper than you think you can. Want to get back to the right so you can set yourself up. Want to use some curb, maybe not too much. Maybe don't want to get the grass. Get back to the left hand so you can take the sweeping right-hander. Then you want to keep a little bit to the right so you can set yourself up here because this next little bit is blind. Stay to the right, swing out to the left-hand curb. And do your best to stay off that curb. The car really wants to push out into the grass there. Swing out to the right. Then go through that sweeping corner. Keep a little bit to the left because you're going to dive it in deep. Try to get to the outside. Try to turn back to the right to get back to those curbs so you can set yourself up for this left-hander. And that is a lap around Mid-Ohio. Alright, so that is the challenge these drivers are going to have to deal with tonight. 7.5 minutes remaining until qualifying and practice ends. Again, they will have the opportunity to practice, but they also have to get 2 qualifying laps in during this time, so they can use the 10 minutes they have allotted to them however they wish. But again, they have to get 2 laps down, or else they're going to get the start in the back. And as we've seen with these cars all season long, it has been very difficult to complete passes. I believe a lot of these drivers are going to try the soft. Something we noticed in the Mercedes is that there's a little bit more tire wear in that car, so some of these drivers might be stuck having to run the medium over the softs. Softs are definitely doable, but they do fall off toward the end. I think a lot of these guys are going to try it, but I think if you qualify up front, you can be enough of a roadblock that the medium tires could work out for you in the final, 2 or 3 laps of this race. Anyway, let's step into qualifying. No one has put a lap time down at this moment. Six minutes remaining. This is a series that JC has dominated up to now. Finished first in 2 races, third in race number 3 of the touring cars. See if he can back up that dominance tonight. Leaf Justin 24 was able to pull off the victory last week after really showing out in the GTs mostly this season. He really had his first good solid race of the touring cars. Again, that can be attributed to qualifying. Jacob X99, who had to step out of our GT event with a glitch in his settings, his wheel acting up. Had to leave. That was very unfortunate, but hopefully he has everything fixed. Hopefully the car is good to go here. Hopefully he's able to pull off a good finish here and make up for what he lost by not being able to run in that first one. We have our first lap put down, a 1:17.7. Trying to remember the times. I can't remember where about that sits on the board. Gary from Canada with an 18.1. These times always a lot tighter, a lot closer together. I believe, I want to say 15s might have been where we were, but I might be a little bit wrong on that. We'll find out with some of our heavy hitters like Ferrari Nut, Skyland, Leaf Justin put down laps here. JC, which JC has actually not been as difficult as these cars have been to pass in. He hasn't scored a lot of poles until last week, I believe. He was on the pole, and then he ended up losing. No, I think Justin was on the pole. I don't know. I don't remember. I just know it was a really tight race. Really fun to watch. You can see the difference in these cars. Only a pair of them in the Veloster. The Veloster? The Velociraptor. Only one driver in the Civic, and that is Hot Sober David. A lot of drivers choosing the Audi. And again, only one driver, or two drivers in the Mercedes-Benz. And that is a car that we saw with a pretty hefty amount of tire wear in this race at this track. If you get a caution, all bets are off and everyone's putting the softs on. And 3 minutes still remaining in practice and qualifying, and still only 4 laps have been put down. A 16.5 from Legit still on the pole. Frozen Toes 24 with a 16.6. JC with a 16.6 as well. Gary from Canada with an 18.1. Ferrari 94 puts down our first 15 with a 15.6. Skyland 4 with a 16.4 in second. So that kicks Legit out of the provisional pole back to third. Now back to fourth as JC puts down a 16 flat, a 16.073. So currently the Ferrari Nut and JC, the provisional front row. Ferrari Nut trying to do something no driver has done yet, and that is win both races in the same night. Will he be able to do that? He's the guy that you would expect to do it if one of them were. Still a lot of drivers out on track. Some trying to get a last-minute practice in. Some trying to get last-minute qualifying laps in. Now within about a minute 15, so if you have not completed a lap, you need to have done so by now. Skyland moves up with a 1:15.8, only 0.2 off the pole, or only actually about a tenth and a half off the pole. but just not quite. Mayor of Bag City with a huge lap. A 1:16.0. That moves him into the 3rd position. "30 seconds here remaining in qualifying. Ferrari and Stanton now. Looks like your front row. Skyline in 3rd, Mayor of Bag City in 4th. JC Scarface, Legit, Frozen Toast 24, Jacob, Leafs Justin. Leafs Justin moves up into the 6th position as we say his name, up to with a 16.4. I still think that's probably a disappointing lap for him, but 10 seconds remaining. We're about to go racing here. And unlike the previous race, we will not have a pace lap. We will go immediately off the start. It will be a standing start. Let's check out our field here. Ferrari Nut 94 on the pole with a 1:15.6. On the outside of row 2 is Stanton Drums 94. Inside of row 2 is Skyland 4 with a 1:15.8. Mayor of Bag City will roll off in the 4th position with a 16.0. JC, who has finished 1st or 2nd in every one of the touring car races so far, rolls off in 5th position. Leaf Justin 24 will start 6th tonight. Scarface 3D will roll off in the 7th position. Legit 14 in the Audi will roll off 8th with a 1:16.5. Frozen Toast 24 in the Audi will roll off 9th with a 1:16.6. Starting on the outside of row 5 is Jacob X99. Dion 4 Dub will start 11th on the grid. Gary from Canada will be in 12th with Sober David, the lone Honda in the field, in 13th. Shotgun with a 1:18.4. I saw a handful of these guys on softs. Some of these drivers had plenty of, were getting really good tire wear, but some of these drivers were not, so we'll have to see. Getting ready to go here. We'll load in, and the game will count them down, and they will go. And here we go. The Blaster on the pole of Ferrari Nut. And they're off a very slow start for Ferrari Nut. That's going to allow Stanton Drums to get to his outside. They are 3 wide already going down into turn 1. They're going to make it work, I think. It sounded like there was an issue in the back. Oh! Stanton Drums goes really wide. That's going to allow Skyland to move up. Or no, that wasn't Stanton. I don't know who that was. That was Mayor of Bag City, who went wide in the 2nd corner in the hairpin. That puts him all the way back to the 12th spot. Ferrari Nut leads. Skyline in 2nd. Stanton Drums 3rd. Leaf Justin in 4th. So similar players to what we saw in the GT race. It's the same cast of characters leading this one, with Legit holding strong in the 5th position. Skyline trying to hang on to the rear end of Ferrari Nut 94. Oh, Skyline goes really wide. Tried to get to him there, and it double-clicked. He's able to hold on to the 2nd position, but that was a big mistake that really could have cost him. And already, Ferrari Nut out to about a 10-15 car length lead. Oh, and it looks like we're going to have a yellow flag once again. So after having our first yellow flag in the series in tonight's GT race, we back it up by having an early yellow here tonight in the touring car race. So I imagine all of these drivers are going to come in, put soft tires on. From here, I believe everyone can make it without having to deal with any sort of tire wear. Let's take a look through the field here. Ferrari 94 is your leader with Skyland 4 in second. Stanton Drums 94 in third. Leafs Justin 24 in fourth. Legit in fifth. Frozen Toes in sixth. Moved up 3 spots there on that one lap we were able to run. Scarface even in P7. Dion 4Dub in 8th. Jacob X99 in 9th. Gary from Canada 10th. Was Sober David in 11th after starting last, and then Mayor of Bag City and JC with a disastrous starts to this evening. They are 12th and 13th. I imagine everyone is going to come in here and pit. Yeah, both Mayor of Bag City and JC falling 8 spots. I believe both of them were in the same issue. Okay, a lot of guys are going to stay out here. And it's not a terrible idea. With the couple of slower laps, that'll take down the tire wear, so the tires should maybe hold on, but I think I like pitting here. Ferrari Nut 94, Gary from Canada, JC, and Mayor from Bag City all hitting pit road, so 9 drivers stayed out. That's an interesting call for Ferrari Nut, especially with the number of drivers who are willing to stay out there. I feel like it was the right call, but we're going to have to see. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to make it through the field, especially with how short of a race this is. So with that sequence of events, Skyland 4 inherits the lead. Stanton Drums in second, Leafs Justin third, Legit in fourth, and Frozen Toast 24 looking to get a top 5. She is currently 5th early in this race, heading toward a single file restart. All right, here we go. Out of the final set of corners, it'll be on Skyland's go. Chris Karch, a.k.a. Skyland, taking him through the first corner. Everyone staying clear of that wall. And try to get the best line they can into the horseshoe here. Ooh, Stanton really tight off the corner. That's going to allow Leafs Justin to get alongside him. Justin getting a little too much dirt, but Skyland getting a little too much dirt as well. Justin was trying to cross. I don't think he realized how slow Stanton had gotten there. That's going to get them all jacked up. That allows Legit to mount a charge. Frozen also trying to capitalize on this battle. The Hooters car, the Chase Elliott mock-up machine, the Audi, running third, trying to get around Stanton Drums, who was complaining about the car not getting off the corners like he would like. We'll see if that's an issue he's able to fix through driving style or through adjustments of his own, or if that's going to persist the rest of the evening. You can see there, corner exit, really struggling. Leafs Justin not able to capitalize, but they are side by side, or not side by side, but nose to tail going into turn 1. Just a lot of dirt there. Really slows down these cars here on Forza. That's going to move Justin back into into the clutches of Legit, but able to hold on. Meanwhile, Ferrari Nut restarted in the 10th position, already up to 6th, within about a lap and a half of action. But now he's coming up on this group of 5 that are all on top of each other. And if you're Skyland, you really need to be setting sail, because Ferrari Nut is definitely going to be trying to chase him down. The other drivers that pit, JC, he's sitting in 9th. Mayor of Bag City is in 12th. I believe it was the other one that came down to pit road. Can't remember if it was Gary or who. I think it was JC, Mayor, and Ferrari Nut that all came to pit road during that lap 2 yellow flag that we had. You can see Leafs Justin and Stanton Drums bouncing off of each other. Meanwhile, Ferrari Nut trying to make a pass on Frozen Toast 24. She isn't able to mount her defense into turn 1, so move Ferrari Nut up into the top 5. He's moved up 5 positions now in the span of 2 laps. You can see Skyland way up there, setting sail. Meanwhile, we have a log jam for the 2nd position. Now 3rd as Leafs Justin gets a little bit of an advantage. But Stanton and Legit have been bouncing off of each other. That's going to allow Ferrari Nut to capitalize. He's going to go around, so move him up into the 4th position. So that call to take tires looking like it's going to work out for Ferrari Nut, but he's going to have to make quick work of Legit and Leafs Justin. Skyland has pulled so far ahead, not even in the picture. It is Leafs Justin and Legit battling for 2nd, with Ferrari Nut quickly closing in. You can see Ferrari Nut looking to the outside, trying to swing around. Not able to make it work, got in there just a little too deep. And into turn 1, not going to be close enough to mount a lunge here. Really difficult corner to try to... Oh, he's going to try it anyway. He looks to his right rear, not able to maintain ground. Legit able to hold on to that 2nd position, but he is under fire from Ferrari Nut. Take a little bit of a closer look at this battle. Ferrari Nut all over his rear end, trying to take just a tiny bit different of a line, trying to set him up for a crossover move, trying to just find anywhere he can stick his nose in to complete this pass. Oh, he misses that corner just a little bit. Legit able to get a nice run, leg out to about a 3-car length lead over Ferrari Nut. But these two battling has allowed Leafs Justin 24 to pull away, but he made a mistake there on the exit of that left-hander. That allows Legit to get a little bit closer. But all of this ground made up by Ferrari Nut is for naught if Skyland continues to pull away. And again, that all depends on if Skyland is able to maintain that tire wear, keep the tires under him. Having not pit under that yellow, it's right on the cusp with the race settings and the tire choice that he likely made in that race car. Let's go back here to the battle between Stanton, JC, and Frozen Toast for 5th spot. JC trying to look to the left side. Again, trying to run just a little bit alternate of a line, find a place to either mount across or stick his nose for a dive. Not able to do it, but Stanton really struggling on corner exit. Went under fire. Something he's seen on that. Oh! I think he was expecting to be clear there and almost made a big mistake hooking JC. That battle has settled itself out now. Legit once again under fire from Ferrari Nut. Meanwhile, Legit has been able to close the gap on Leafs Justin 24. Still just not quite able to make that pass. Ferrari Nut is able to get through most of this field like a knife through butter, but has caught this Audi and has been stuck now for the last couple of laps. And we're slowly running out of time. Or actually, we're quickly running out of time, I should say. With less than 5 laps to go, it'll be 4 once they cross the line. Oh, you can see Legit getting real loose, able to hold on to it, though. But again, able to pull away from Ferrari Nut. That just went wide. That was Stanton once again getting wide, really struggling in the center and exit of these corners. About to fall into the clutches of Frozen Toes, as she will look to find a way around him. Oh, we have finally Ferrari Nut able to get alongside Legit really running him tight. Really running him tight. Dives it in there way too deep. That is going to allow Ferrari Nut to complete that pass. Very aggressive driving out of Legit, but Ferrari Nut able to keep his composure and complete that pass. Now he is going to set his sights on Leaf Justin. Oh, Mayor of Back City. Oh, we have... Don't know what might have happened to him there, but he... sideways in the racetrack. Not ideal. Not what you're looking for. And had a very nice, solid qualifying effort, especially for the lack of laps and lack of experience he's had in this league. But has struggled since the drop of the green flag. Check in here with Jacob X99, kind of all by himself on the tail end of this pack. That's nearly a 6-second gap back to 9th place Dion, so no pressure out back for him. He's just going to try to find a way around Frozen Toast 24 ahead of him, who herself is trying to find a way around Stanton Drums. Only be 2 laps remaining. Skyland's starting to fall back just a little bit. Showing no signs of tire wear currently on the ticker here. But still, he's running just a tiny bit slower than what Leaf Justin seems to be running. Justin's still not near close enough to be able to mount any sort of a charge. Ferrari Nut probably spent everything he had trying to get around Legit. Gonna need a little bit of a miracle to be able to run down Skyland here. Gonna need a lot to go right for him to be able to get around Leaf Justin. Check in with this battle for the 6th spot. It's closest one on the track right now. Stanton and Frozen. Stanton once again just seems to be struggling on corner exit. Frozen trying to take advantage. Oh, Frozen with a mistake! Oh, she got onto the curb. Doesn't seem like she hurt the car too bad, but it is not going to turn right for her here. She's just keeping it out of the way of everyone as they go by. But very unfortunate. This sort of got booth cursed there, trying to watch her try to make a move around Stanton. Meanwhile, here on the final lap, going to our leader, Skyland 4. Didn't have the fastest car tonight, but has done a nice job managing it, had the right strategy when the yellow came out. And that looks like that is going to be the difference, but the tires are starting to go a little bit bad on his race car. But it's the same exact story for Leafs Justin. Want to work the final handful of corners here. Skyland just have to hold a pretty line, take care of it, don't overdrive it too much, don't take off the tires too much. And he's going to do it. He is going to be able to win tonight's touring car race. Leaf Justin 24 will double podium along with Ferrari Nut 94. Justin in second. Ferrari Nut third. Legit coming home in fourth. JC able to rebound from an earlier incident in fifth. Stanton Drum sixth. Jacob X99 seventh. Dion in eighth. Sober David in ninth. Scarface 10th. Mayor of Bag City, who was up and down into an 11th place finish. Frozen Toes with the late mistake, goes home in 12th. And Gary from Canada will finish in the 13th spot in his John Deere tractor, which has all the speed of a John Deere tractor. There he is, bouncing off the wall. Gary from Canada will bring it home in the 13th spot. That race would have been one lap longer. I think Ferrari would have been in the catbird seat, but unfortunately it was not. But here we go. So it was Ferrari Nut in third, Leaf Justin in second, and Skyland in first. So Skyland coming home with the dub.
Pretty sure you two are the only two that have seen it as of thus far. Maybe.
We got some angry people right now for in the battle for third. We watched that happen. We'll ask Friday about that here in a minute.
I was trying to take care of the tires the whole race so that if you got to me, I could do something about it and hang on.
I was
glad I did.
sending it the entire race.
Well, Skyland was able to hold off pretty well as I interrupted them talking about the race, like a rude person that I am. Skyland 4, you had the right strategy there, staying out, able to maintain your track position, you were able to save the tires, and you came home the victor tonight. Talk about your race.
If it wasn't for having to be very, very patient with the car to not destroy the tires, but not just go for a Sunday drive, because then Justin would have gotten to me and it would have been round two. I almost felt like it got handed to me at one point, but I had to work more than I thought I was going to need to work when we took that restart. I thought I was going to run away with it, and then I realized if I push it, these tires will be bald. So that was cool. I didn't actually know if I was going to win one of these touring car races, and this is my home track on this game. I actually used to drive out to here every year when IMSO had their mainline series going there. I would just ride out there on my bike, and that would be a me day. So really cool to get that win at this track.
Were you confident in the tires hanging together there with that strategy, or was that sort of a throw a split decision, throw something at the wall and see what happens, kind of a choice?
Because of the 2 laps of caution, I was confident that I wouldn't get too far past 70%. If it wasn't for the caution, I think I would have been in pretty sad shape there. I was comfortable with the tire wear until I saw Justin start to reel me in. And I was just hoping that he didn't get to me too early, because then I wasn't sure if they would hang on. I wasn't sure how hard I'd have to burn them. So confident, but not comfortable entirely.
Well, it ended up being the right decision in the end. Skyline 4 coming home with the win tonight. Let's move over to Leaf Justin 24. He was on the right side of a battle with Skyline at Indy, on the wrong side of this one, as at the end you were trying to run him down while holding off the hard charge in Ferrari Nut. Talk about your race, the decision that played into your staying out, and what more you needed to be able to come home with the dub tonight.
I just stayed out because this was a soft tire race, and I knew that I wouldn't really have, any problems that I could have even had would have been fixed just by having those couple of pace laps. So track position was going to be king, I thought, there. So seeing the leader pull off was kind of felt like a bonus position just out of nowhere, and just couldn't quite get to Skyline at the end of the race. It was trying very hard. I think I may have accidentally sent JC to the moon when that caution came out. Couldn't tell if it was completely my fault or not, but I think it primarily was, so I have some apologizing due for that. But yeah, aside from that, this race was quite fun, and very pleased with the result.
Leaf Justin pleased with his result tonight, coming home in the second position. Let's move over to Ferrari Nut 94. Started on the pole, looked quick in that first lap, and then the yellow came out. Were you expecting more people to come with you? And if there were, how much longer did you need the race to be able to run down Skyline?
It didn't matter how long the race was. The tires were already higher than my tires were already higher than his. I feel like I'm out here fighting with one arm tied behind my back out here on this. I'm on a controller, so the tire wear is naturally worse in these cars on the front end. And just the only reason I pitted it is because I knew that if I stayed out there, those tires were going to be completely trashed by the end of the race. Just it's either a case of, Chris was driving. Obviously, he's able to be a little easier on it because he's on a wheel. Got a little more control over the input with this. I guess I really need to get something figured out on that, but it's just like it's handicapping me every week now. So just had to bite the bullet and do it, because I just said, okay, well, if I'm not gonna be able to pull a gap, then I'm not gonna be able to hold on to this. So, and then got some interesting interactions with another car out there. We'll just leave that for now. This is touring cars, folks. It's a boxing match.
Were you expecting more cars to come pit with you there? And were you surprised that you came off a pit road in the 10th position and had that much field to try to work through?
No, I wasn't expecting anybody except for the cars involved to pit, so I knew that was only going to be a couple of them, so I was expecting to be at least outside of the top 10, which is, I was exactly 10th, so the biggest issue I ran into was just the parking lot that was turn 2 on that restart. I just literally could not go anywhere, and then trying to pass people around here, there's not really a lot of places to get a good run on somebody in one of these things around here. So when the opportunity comes, you kind of just got to take it and run with it.
That is Ferrari Nut 94, able to rebound into a third-place finish. That is all for tonight, folks. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for watching. And so, our congrats once again to our winners, Ferrari Nut. And
turn 1 was fun.
It was very fun to watch, I will say that. But yes, Congrats to our winners tonight, Ferrari Nut and Skylid 4, who were 2/3 of that 3 wide into 1. And, yeah. We'll see y'all next week, I believe. Possibly the day before Thanksgiving. Maybe not. We'll double check all that. But, until next time.